Good morning and welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. We here at Park City Television love to bring you the best of the community, including all of the dining, the nightlife, the outdoor activities, but we are thrilled to introduce a new segment that could potentially be life-saving for you and your family called Be Ready Summit County. And kicking off this segment that we'll be featuring throughout the year is Park City Emergency Manager Hugh Daniels and Summit County Emergency Manager Chris Crowley. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm excited about this because we do feature so many different aspects of the community, but this is something that isn't necessarily talked about in the forefront, but when we need it, we need it. So this is something new, and we're excited about the Be Ready. Talk to me a little bit about the emergencies that we are actually potentially preparing for here in Park City or Summit County.
We both have a list. They're pretty much the same because we're in the same general area. And it goes from low to high. Obviously, we've talked about earthquakes for years. The Wasatch Fault is pretty significant down along the front. That's why we have big, tall mountains. When it will happen, we don't know. And so we do have to prepare for that because it could be a catastrophic type of emergency. Probably next on our list are wildfires. And once we get through flooding season, also on the list, we'll go into wildfire season. And then severe weather, but we're pretty good at handling weather, living up in the mountains.
Weather we can do.
Yeah, that's not a big issue. You know, you could have a pandemic, you can have terrorism, you can have all sorts of different things, but there's about 10 or 12 different hazards that we really keep an eye out for. And what we do in emergency management now is we do all hazards emergency management. In other words, you don't just plan for an earthquake and have a different plan for flooding and a different plan for a fire. You have a basic plan for all of them, and then you just adjust it as necessary when something pops up in town. So emergency managers are kind of like planners. I like to say we're like an insurance policy. You know,
I like that.
You hope you never have to use this, but you're
I'm
happy.
Glad you're there.
But you're happy when you do. And so Chris and I work closely together throughout both the city and the county.
Well, and like you said, there's so many similar. I mean, there's a huge overlap, clearly. With this new Be Ready segment, part of the challenges, I'm sure, on your end are actually getting the information out to the community and making people aware of the resources and making people aware of the work that you're doing behind the scenes to be ready. What are some of your goals and intentions in this segment?
Well, I think one of the most important things for everybody to understand is that hazards aren't centered just around gigantic disasters and catastrophes. Local hazards such as toxic waste or toxic chemicals on 80, vehicle accidents, fast-moving water and some of these small drainage ditches. These are all issues that need to be addressed and understood by our community. We hope to inform and work with our community, tell them about these different issues and how to best plan and mitigate against them. One of the most important aspects, of course, is to just plan at your home, within your family, create a very simple communication plan. Know everybody's phone numbers, have them written down because you can't always rely on your phone.
You can't just always grab your iPhone and accept it'll work.
And just understand where you would meet in the event of a large-scale emergency and how you would bring your family back together if need be, and also understanding what kind of resources are available, such as Red Cross shelters or support from city or county services in the event of an emergency.
Well, and I think, too, people don't necessarily think about this as a family planning discussion. I have a kindergartner, and he's come home and said, where's our safety meeting spot, you know, if there's a fire, and where's the and I'm just thinking, oh, I really need to think about this because you are, you know. And I think just getting the dialogue going in the homes of Park City and Summit County residents is going to be just such a huge step forward in and of itself.
Our kids are great conduits to get the parents thinking about things.
My kids get me to think about stuff all the time.
Yeah. Part of the issue, of course, is being able to reach out and alert citizens. And one of the taglines we've used is, if we can't reach you, we can't alert you. And we do have alerting systems. Cell phones don't always work, particularly in large events. If we lose power, they will for a while, but they eventually stop. It's often easier to call out of the area than to call within the area. So do you have a family member somewhere else in the country that can be your like operator and take messages and find out where everybody is and get them to one spot? We do have some emergency mass notification systems, or what people normally call reverse 911, that's available. There's one in Park City that's called Park City Alerts. Summit County's is called Code Red. And there's some other alerting systems too, but the primary emergency notification systems are those. Our biggest problem is we can get a landline phone number. Those are provided to us by the phone company.
What about those of us that have
But
sacrificed?
we're currently at about 30 to 35% don't have landlines anymore, just cell phones. And we cannot get cell phone numbers. And they're portable. So they come from other states and have other numbers. So there's really no way to do that. So you need to register your cell phone and all the rest of the family's cell phones and your address. And you can have multiple addresses in these systems. So you can put in multiple cell phone numbers, texting numbers, emails. There's an app on, you can put on your phone. Everybody has to have an app.
Right.
But you've got to go to do that online. And so for Park City, you go to parkcityalerts.org.
Okay, we're showing it up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
I think this is so important because I think there are so many people that really rely on their cell phones as their primary form of communication.
It's easy to do, won't take you very long.
Okay.
It has good directions. And then for Summit County, their Code Red is on their homepage, so summitcounty.org.
Okay.
Right at the bottom, there's a Code Red link. And it's a similar process of registering addresses and the numbers, and you can even choose what order you want them in. So if you want yours to be a cell first, and then a text, and then an email, and I want to do an email first, you can choose what order you want to put them in.
Well, that is convenient. So if you all do anything this morning, put your coffee down, go online, and register your cell phone, because as you said, if you can't reach you, you can't alert you to the emergencies. And we always like to talk about how unique Park City is in every aspect. Well, we're also unique in our emergencies. I can't imagine the challenge of having something happen during the Sundance Film Festival, during
that's what keeps us up at night.
Christmas week, with the montage full of guests that don't even know where they are in the mountains, let alone how to get out. I mean, you must have a whole sea of what-if scenarios that you work with.
We do that constantly. It is those things that kind of keep you up at night that you worry about.
I'm sorry to bring them up this
It's
early.
all right. It's okay. We deal with it all the time. We think about it all the time. We do have procedures for that. I mean, it's very different today in May and the crowd in town. But
now you can sleep easy.
Our service population, even though the residential population is under 10,000, our service population can swell to 65,000 in a day. And so we have to plan for all of those 65,000 people, whether it's May or whether it's December or January. So in that all hazards planning, we take that into account.
You can see where that keeps me up, and it's not even my responsibility. We're showing some of the media that you guys have created and put out just to keep people aware and keep it in the forefronts of people's mind. But I'm excited about the segment. And Chris, finally, before you guys have to go, what are some of the things that you, aside from registering the cell phones, some of those initial steps or conversations that people should be having right now with their families?
Right. Well, as you said, registering is important, and I would also encourage everybody to go to summitcounty.org to register for the county's alert system, which is everything outside of Park City. But again, having the communication inside of your family, making sure that you understand what types of hazards may lurk inside of your home, chemicals, how to shut off your gas meter in the event of a major
knowing where it is.
Disaster, exactly. Knowing where it is. And most importantly, just being prepared in a very simple way. And that's one of the things that we spend a lot of time in the community talking about, is just creating a very practical level plan for your family to be safe, secure, and be able to communicate.
Well, and these are all topics that we're going to discuss in more detail on the segment throughout the year. I want to thank both of you for waking up early and coming in to introduce it to us. I look forward to having you back often.
Likewise.
We look forward to it.
All right. We are going to take a break here on the Mountain Morning Show, but I encourage all of you right now to get online, register your cell phones to make sure that you are even capable of being alerted. And of course, tune into the Mountain Morning Show. We're going to be featuring the segment twice a month, going in depth with details, information, gear, everything you need to help keep your family safe in the case of an emergency right here in Summit County. We're going to take a quick break and be back with much more. You're watching Park City Television.